Hello students, today I am going to teach the topic types of a data center. So let's proceed with the concept as a types of a data center. Before knowing the types of a data center, we know the types of data center facilities. As data centers contain important computing resources, there is a need to carefully select both the facility and the personnel that can maintain a data center 24 by 7. The functions of data center demands a facility that support high number of server resources and network infrastructure. Based on criticality of data center and its need in a cloud computing environment to be accessible and functional, there are certain key areas that facility should be able to cover, like an power and cooling capacity, cabling systems, safety systems, temperature controls, access, surveillance systems, rack space, and race floors. Based on the business or organization, functional, and design needs, the data center facility can be of the different type, like an in-house data center, co-location data center, dedicated hosting, and managed hosting, as well as shared hosting. As we know, as an in-house data center, which is one of the type of the facility which is a part of a data center. So this is the data center facility owned by large organization. Such a facility is generally considered by large enterprises and businesses that are into technology. The in-house facility is designed, set up, operated, and maintained by the organization itself. Managing an in-house data center can be quite expensive considering the cost associated with purchasing, maintaining, and upgrading the equipments. Therefore, the capabilities of an in-house data center are driven by the investment and that the organization is ready to make. An example of a company that uses an in-house data center facility is a Facebook. So Facebook is one of the company who are using in-house data center facilities. There is another type of facility that is a co-location type of data center facility. This refers to placing multiple entities within single location. A co-location is a data center facility which a business can rent. The co-location facility provides retail customers equipment, space, and bandwidth on rent. Multiple organizations can share these facilities. Such multi-tenant facilities provide space, equipment by rack, cabinet, and cage. This facility provides the benefits of cost and effort reduction to maintain in an in-house data center. Then, co-location facility is popular among small and mid-sized organizations as it allows them to focus their investment on their core business rather than in a data center maintenance. Another key advantage is the increased flexibility and scalability that a co-location data center facility can provide. One of the example of the organization who are using co-location facility is a entity communication, those who are implementing the co-location solution. With this, there is another kind of the facility that is a dedicated hosting. So this is a type of data center facility in which the customers take an entire server on a rent and does not share it with other customer. So it is a single tenant model where customers has full control over the server. In a co-location, the customer purchases their own server hardware and software licenses and then places them in a data center. With the dedicated hosting, customers can get a server completely devoted to their online applications. In this case, the customers do not own the hardware as they rent it. Since the organization has a full control over the server, a dedicated hosting facility is more flexible than the co-location solution. However, some providers can add amenity services such as a remote hands to reboot servers and upgrade the softwares. With this, there is another types of facility that is called as a managed hosting. So this is a type of data center facility in which service provider not only operates the servers and storage but also offers administrative and engineering services. Under that, they cover common services and facility by providers as database administration, managed security services, operating system administration, application management services, and remote management. So, in these types of facility that is managed hosting, the providers owns hardware equipment in the data center and the customer has full control over their operating system and applications running on the servers. Such a segregation provides a balance of ownership, security, and scalability. In some cases, the customer may also own the hardware devices used in the data center. There is another type of facility that is called as shared hosting. So, this is a type of data center facility in which the customer share the server capacity. Such a facility is quite economical for a customer since the server maintenance cost span across multiple customers. This is generally the most economical option for hosting as the overall cost of the server maintenance is adopted over many customers. Typically, a standard web server works fine with a shared web hosting services, though this types of facility is cheaper and it has a huge limits. Further, the reliability depends on the reliability feature that providers have enforced. As there are example point of view, GoDaddy and another is a host engine is one of the example of company who using the shared hosting for their purpose. Now, on base of these types of facility, the data center category has been made. These types consist of three types, that is a internet data center, corporate data center, and software defined data center. In shortly, it's called as a IDC, CDC, and software defined data center. A data center can have any combination of the server farms. The types of server farm that a data center will cater is too important and it is defined technical architecture of the data center. As one new term comes here as a server farm. So what is server farm? So server farm is nothing but series of server, high computing servers which are designed, which are presented within a data center for their functional tasks. As according to the server farm and as per the types of facility, data centers has been categorized into the three part as well as based on the core functions of the data center provide, it get categorized into IDC, CDC, software defined data center. Now let's have a look on the every type and every category of this data center type. Let's talk about the IDC. As it is in a very simple terms, an internet data center is a data center connected to the internet and can be accessed from the internet. An IDC is traditionally an outsourced solution where it is built and managed by service providers. Also, there are few enterprises whose core business would be based on internet commerce that we call as a e-commerce. Such enterprises operate their own IDC. The architecture of enterprise IDC and service provider IDC are quite similar. However, in a case of enterprise IDC, the demand of scalability is generally lower as the user base and services provided is comparatively smaller than a service provider IDC. A service provider IDC needs to operate on a large scale as it hosts multiple customers. In a case, a business would like to operate an enterprise IDC but may not want to build a server farm from the scratch. They could also use data center facilities in a collected data center. An enterprise can rent out a server or a cabinet which remains under the control of enterprise and not service provider. Such an arrangement provides the different benefits. What kind of benefits we'll get from this IDC? It is an additional task of building the data center internally from ground up. With this, cost of building the server farm has been reduced. With this, product time to market is also gets reduced because of the IDC. As you can see this picture, in this the IDC are the central part of the data center where the general user gets connected with this IDC. As for example point of view, there are number of e-commerce portal like an Amazon.com, Flipkart.com or eBay or Snapdeal.com where what user can do, simply they are going to access their application. If any user want to do the online shopping, so simply what they will do, they will open their browser. In that browser they will enter the address of that website, whether it's an Amazon.com or whether it's an eBay.com or whether it's an Snapdeal or Flipkart. Once they are enter this address, immediately their enterprise application gets open in front of the web pages, and where user is going to log in that system, and afterwards they will search which product they want to buy and they will add into a cart and they will perform their operation. Means what? These are the some e-commerce related portals where they are going to implement it one of the types of a data center that is called as a IDC, that is internet data center. And with the help of this IDC, a general user also gets connected with this data center with the help of internet. Definitely they are going to maintain the specific types of authentication which will give access to the user if they are having the credential. It is accessible to the all general user, but whenever it's time to perform any kind of transaction, they will require their credential in terms of login ID or password. So this is all about the internet data center, which is one of the famous type of the data center and which is going to use the in-house facility within their data center. Now let's have a look on another type that is called as a corporate data center, which is also shortly called as a CDC. As corporate data center are built to support core functions of a business. The business model can be based on internet services as well as intranet services or both. Hence, corporate data center architecture can be any type of the server farm. An example of this such architecture will consider in different types of companies. In such kind of architecture, data centers are supported by all the three types of server farms is connected to the enterprise network. As here are two words are important, it is based on the internet service as well as intranet services. So what about the internet and intranet? As we know, when you access any application globally with the help of internet, that is an internet based services you are going to use. But any application which are limited to any particular organization where they have implemented client server architecture. So on a server side they install a main software, and on a client side they are going to interact with their application. So that is an intranet based services. So in this corporate it is going to support two types of services, whether it's an internet or intranet services. So through a corporate data centers can support all types of server farms. They are typically used for supporting intranet server farms hosting enterprise application. If there is a virtualization concept, these are also part of this corporate data center. As we know, basically this is famous for use for the core business functions, as well as they can be used any types of server farms. As we know that number of companies which is maybe a small scale or which is a large scale company, they are basically dealt with this corporate data center where their number of limited users or they are accurate users, those are eligible to access their business application. It is not available to the general user. Those are authorized user, they are part of that organizations, they only access their data and all. Now how it is possible? This is possible because of corporate data center, as every organization has implemented their application in the corporate data center. So this is all about the another type of a data center that is called as a corporate data center. Then there is another type that is called as a software defined data center. Let's have talk about this software defined data center. In a software defined data center, which is also called as a SDDC, all infrastructure elements are virtualized and delivered as a service. The infrastructure elements include networking, storage, security, then you can say CPUs, that is one of the compute resources. The entire infrastructure is abstracted from the hardware and managed through a software. The key tasks related to the development, deployment, provisioning, configuration, operation of the infrastructure is automated and carried out through a software. This way of managing infrastructure through a software is known as a virtualization. So in this software defined data center, there is an important role of this virtualization. As we studied previously also, number of cloud service provider who are going to implement the virtualization things within their data center. As the cloud services point of view, this virtualization carries very important role in the software defined data center. As virtualization is a core behavior of software defined data center, the major building block of an software defined data center are network virtualization, storage virtualization, and server virtualization. Let's talk about these types, or these are the major building blocks of the software defined data center, which is also and services provided by different cloud service provider. In the network virtualization, in the type of this virtualization, the available network resources are combined by splitting up the available bandwidth into channels. Each channel is independently secured and can be assigned to a specific server or device in a real time. The authorized user can also have shared access to all network resources. Network virtualization helps to reduce the time consuming task of network management. Since the tasks are virtualized, it improves productivity efficiency of the network administration. Then there are the some of the tasks that the administration does through a network virtualization, like an centrally managing the files, videos, images, programs or folders from a single physical sites. Also, they can reassigning the storage media such as hard drives, tape drives, as well as allocating sharing a storage space among the server. Then in the storage virtualization, in this type of virtualization, the typical storage from multiple network storage device is pulled together into a single storage device. This pooled storage device is then centrally managed from a single console. These types of virtualization is typically used as a storage area network with storage virtualization. The storage administrator can easily perform the task of data backup and data archiving and data recovery more easily. This essentially disguises a complex SAN environment. In storage virtualization, a new software and or hardware layer is created between storage system and server. This means that applications on a server need not know on which storage subsystem their data is residing. Then there are certain tasks that a storage administration can do the storage virtualization that centrally manage the distributed storage, migrate the data, synchronize input output access, as well as centrally manage the provisioning of the storage capacity. As there is one more types of virtualization gets implemented within this software defined data center, that is called as a server virtualization, and basically it deals with deployment provisioning. As in this type of this virtualization, the server resources are masked up from the server users. The server resources include the identity and number of physical servers, processors, and operating systems. Server virtualization allows for hiding the complicated details of the server from the users. This helps in increasing resource sharing and managing the server capacity for meeting scalability needs. To implement server virtualization, the server administrator creates multiple isolated virtual environments from a single physical server. These virtual environments are known as a virtual private server or guest instance or containers. In these types of virtualization, each server runs on virtual limitations of hardware layers, so the guest operating system can run without the need of any modifications. The use of those guest virtualization or search virtualization is limited up to a software defined data center. The guest has no knowledge of host operating system because it is not aware that it's not running on real hardware, and it does not however require real computing resources from the host. As there are certain tasks that the server man administrator can do with the server virtualization, like emulate the connectivity between applications and services within the test environment. So the administrator need not physically test the software on possible hardware. Centrally manage the provisioning of server capacity. With this, consolidate a server resources, thus reducing the number of servers and racks which are part of the data center. So these are the types of virtualization which are part of this software defined data center. As a summary point of view, can say that there are three basically types falls according to the facility, that is a internet data center, corporate data center, and software data center. Thank you.